This week, we made more progress on the massive gate build. Hey everyone, this is Josh and you're watching Scattercraft. I am getting excited about this build. The progress is slow but steady and really coming together in a great way. And this has me so inspired to see this in all its glory when it's completed. And believe me, it will be glorious. So let me show you what I did. Okay, so I wanted to get these towers knocked out first. I want to put a door in them, but I kind of think a staircase actual door would be a lot nicer than one of those trap doors. So I cut out a 3x2 inch square here and glued another 3x2 inch to the back of it to give me a right angle. I want to outline everything with my bricks so I can insert this into the piece. I make sure I leave the standard 1-inch door spacing. And I just start laying bricks out. I also need to create the floor here. I cut a few thinner pieces to use as a staircase. Some people like to use like a 1-inch base for a staircase, but I like it to look a little more realistic. Sure, you can't place a mini on it, but it just looks so much better like this. I realize this is a good time to put the door on, so I'll go ahead and rip out a few pieces for the doors. I used the cover for my X-Acto knife blade here to give a rounded edge to the wood so it doesn't have such a sharp look and give it a little bit more worn and realistic look here. Then I glued 4 of these 1/4-inch pieces together to give me a 1-inch door. I just start cutting out several because I know I'm going to need a lot of different doors for this. I need 5, maybe 6 for this building. I just use a method I've shown you before. I just take these self-adhesive labels and I cut them into strips to use as banding for the doors. Also dig through and get a few handles here out of my bits and bobs box. Close that up. I also cut out little squares to use here as bracing for the door handles. I'm gonna get nice and close here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I put a small strip of the label through the handle here, and I press that against the side. It makes it really easy to attach it. There's no glue lines, and it actually looks like a functioning handle. And I just cut off the excess. I'm going to glue that door in here so I can continue with the bricks. That looks pretty nice. I'm just going to keep laying the bricks out until I get that fully encased. Add a few more steps to the stairs, cut those to size. Now it's time to glue that into place. Now you're starting to get an idea of what it's going to look like. So continue around with the bricks. Looks like I'm just going to need another step here. And that's looking pretty nice. I realize I don't need this top course of bricks. I want to embed this and then I can use the floor to just lay it out and have it match exactly to the floor, or I guess the roof. Figure out exactly where I want that, and I cut out the hole for it. This is more of a guessing thing, but a little tighter is better than looser in this case. And there we go, now it's fitting. I run the first course of bricks, so I know exactly how far it's going to overhang. And cut out a little bit more excess. And cut out a little bit more. I did this so you can see I'm going to cut this on the prox on here to fit right with those bricks on the side so it lines up perfectly. There we go. And now I'm going to add a ton of glue to make sure this holds really strong. And just line that up. I want the bricks to continue their zigzag pattern down. And then at this point I'm going to finish laying out all the courses of the bricks on the top. And this side lined up really nice. So at this point I need to figure out something I was going to do with this gate here. I really want a porkless on it. So I see a lot of people use this granny grating stuff here, or whatever they call it. Plastic canvas. Anyways, I use this a lot for windows, but I don't really want to use it for a gate. It's super flexible, and I don't think it's very durable, and I think the holes are a little too small to get a good look. So I think I actually found a great solution while I was at Walmart. Walmart has these fly swatters for $1 right now. They have them all over the store. So if you look, they got a little bit bigger grating, which I kind of like. And they got these little spikes on the end. I don't know if I want to use those for the porkless gate. And this is a lot more rigid than the other stuff was. And I think that looks about right, actually. And what's great is I built this so it's perfect size, so I can actually raise this up inside. But we'll figure out how to do that in a second. Another great thing about these though is actually the shape of the handle is kind of like a I-beam shape, which is going to be really great for like some Warhammer builds and things like that, I think. So I'm definitely going to save this, and if you have a Walmart near you, which if you're in America you do, this is like multiple uses. I think I'm going to use the handle for some kind of Warhammer futuristic build. I can definitely use this I-beam shape here for multiple different pieces, and then you got this for a great, I mean for $1 you can't beat it. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that. Let's get back to the build. Okay, with that interruption out of the way, I cut every other spike on this fly swatter. I don't know why this fly swatter has these, but they're very convenient for this porkless. I just carve out a slot for this to slide into. I get that in there, and that's looking pretty nice. I just finish out the bricks on the top of the wall and at the top of the entrance. I also fill up all the bricks on the sides here. Now I want to lay out the wooden battlement. I'm using the same method I used on my wall before. But if you don't remember, this is 1 inch wide for the mini base, and then it's 2 inches tall in the front. I just cut the 45s to fit this in here nicely. And to finish this up, I'm going to need a lot of wood pieces. So I add some wood grain and start slicing out boards. The Proxxon makes this so much easier and faster. Really is a tool that if you get a chance to have one, it's really worth it. I just glue my boards all the way down, letting them overhang a little bit because I'm just going to cut all that excess off. Just make sure you got a sharp blade here, and cutting all these off is really satisfying. I just keep that going the same way around. I reference my other wall piece to make sure I'm laying the boards in the same order so they overlap the same way, but besides that I'm just laying them down and cutting them out. I lay the top piece on here. I shouldn't have done this, it made it a little harder to cut out the windows, and learned my lesson on that, but if you do this the same method, it's best to wait and cut out the windows first because you can cut straight down. Then I lay out the trim pieces. This just gives it such a nice detail. I use my X-Acto knife to cut out the arrow slits. Once I get those cut out, I start laying in some inside trim pieces to finish it out. And they look pretty nice. And I just continue that all the way down. And then I just hot glued that right onto the front. And now it's starting to come together. I put some wood grain on some wider timbers to use as the supports. Cut them out with 45s on each side to give me a 90 degree, and just glue each of those in lining up with the trim. That'll add a lot of strength to our battlements. I just quickly lay down a little rail on the back here. I figured the soldiers probably didn't want to fall off the back on accident. So I wanted to show you guys what I got. This thing. Dolly mat. What is this? 24 by 18. And the best part, thrift store deal, $10.99. Let's check this thing out though. So much better. I'm excited. This is gonna be so much better for cutting foam core on. It actually fits inside the mat. Oh. Anyways, I had to show you. I didn't want you guys freaking out when the mat changed and you didn't know what happened. Alright, back to it. Now that I'm done with the wall, I lay out about where I want my tower battlements to sit. I cut these out at 45s and make a square. These are pretty easy to figure out. It just depends on how big you make your tower. I set these in about a ½ inch on each side, I believe. I cut out the inside so I can slide over this piece to give it an overlap. I could have just glued them all on individually, but I thought this was a little simpler solution. And what's nice is it's going to make it removable this way. I glued in some 3/8 inch supports to give about the right spacing that I wanted. Then I added my 2-inch walls all the way around. And then I do the same with the other side. I made this template to line out the windows to make sure they're spaced right. This made it a lot easier to cut them out and make them perfect. And then I set my square to 1 inch to make all the windows the same height. And I cut all those out. And no reason to show you me putting on the boards anymore, but it's just the same all the way around. Lay them down, cut them off. And then I just cut out the window slots. All right, so this is coming together very nicely and I'm getting very excited about it. I could not imagine when I started how big of an undertaking this project was gonna be. Let me set that down. I also couldn't have imagined how much you guys would enjoy this build-in series, and I'm stoked you guys are liking it. My goal of this channel is to inspire more people to try their hand at crafting, and the response and love you guys have for this art is just so overwhelming. I couldn't ask for a better community. Thanks so much, guys. Also, I'm so thrilled about my new mat I found. This thing is so beautiful. Oh, it's got that new mat smell. If I could find a link online for this, I'll put it in the description for you guys. But unfortunately, I can't make it $10.99. I'm sorry. So let's talk about this portcullis. Rip it out of there. There we go. So I love little hacks like this. I love being able to turn something like this into something like this. I love the way this looks, and it's super rigid compared to this granny grating as you see. This stuff just bends. This thing is really solid. I want to do some improvements to make it move a little bit better inside the gate. I think I might add some kind of weight onto the top to help it fall a little bit better, and of course I'm going to clear out the channels for it a little bit better as well. I'm also thinking about setting up some kind of pin to pin it in the upright position, so I can just pull out the pin and it'll drop, and then I can lift it up and push the pin in and that'll hold it. I think that'll just be the simplest solution. I'm also very happy with the stairs I got to the tower here. I was going to do a trapdoor like I did in my other tower build, but then I just kind of pictured the guards trying to filter up through that little tiny trapdoor during a gate siege, and at that point I figured an upgrade was in order. I do still have a few other things I need to add to this. Of course, the wood on the other tower. I need to get the portcullis working properly. And of course, because I know you guys will mention it, I need to add doors. And just a few other things I need to tidy up and a few little decorations I have in mind. And if you did like this video and series so far, please share this video with your friends. And be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see the ultimate conclusion to this gatehouse build next week on Scattercraft. Bye.